Well, hello and greetings to you. My name is Dorian Janney, and I am an education and outreach specialist at NASA in Maryland. I work primarily with the Global Precipitation Measurement Mission, which is this amazing satellite that was launched in 2014 that flies about 300 miles above Earth's surface. And as it flies over Earth, it uses two main instruments. One of them is a microwave imager, and the other is a active and passive radar instrument. And using those two instruments, we are able to determine how much precipitation is falling anywhere on Earth. And we are able to give you data. You're able to actually get data yourself for free to find out how much precipitation has fallen in any area anytime in the last 22 years. So I'm going to give you an example, and I'm also going to invite you to join a really cool project that I have going that focuses on getting citizen scientists interested and understanding how and why we are measuring this precipitation from space. So if you go to do a Google search and you look up precipitation education, that's the name of the website that we have with my mission, where we find ways to get people understanding how and why we measure precipitation from space. We have, under resources and programs, a special page for focused on the GLOBE program. I am on the education work group for the GLOBE program, was a GLOBE teacher back in my former life, and absolutely adore finding ways to tie you taking measurements from the ground level and NASA taking measurements, and European Space Agency, lots of different organizations, taking observations from space, and us being able to pull those two observations together. So here's what I have that I'd like to invite you to join us with. If you come down here, I have written that you can join something called Telling Your Tree Story, or another one called Telling Your Water Story. I'm going to start with Telling Your Water Story and show you what's involved with that and just how easy it is to be a part of it. So I clicked on those words, and now I'm going to get just a one-pager, which explains what you can do to be able to be a part of this. While I'm waiting for that to come up, I want to tell you that the data from the GPM mission and from all NASA missions actually is freely available. And so I want to show you what some of that data looks like and how you could use that data and collect that data yourself. So this one I call Telling Your Water Story. And as you know, because I know you're doing a special investigation for the next 2 weeks that focuses on precipitation, water and freshwater resources are absolutely vital for our survival. So one of the things I thought that would be kind of neat for people to do is to use the Globe Observer app that's on your smartphone, use the cloud tool, and go out and take a cloud observation. Take it from anywhere. After you do your observation, and once it shows up on your smartphone, and to make it show up, you just go to your app, to your Globe Observer app, and then you go down where it says to you, see, I'm looking at it right now to see mine. I'm at my home, and I can look and see, oops, I got my funny thing on. I can look and it says my observations. I can go to my observations and pull them up, and then I'm able to get a screen which then shows this information. What I would want you to do is to send me a screenshot of your cloud observation, and all my information is right here within this document. Send me a screenshot, and then I'm going to take your latitude and longitude, and I'm going to send you your data for the location where you did your cloud observation that shows you how much rain and snow fell in that exact location over the past 22 years. Now, let me show you what we're going to end up doing with this, because it ends up being pretty neat. In some places, the problem is there's too much water. You have too much precipitation, and there's flooding. Maybe there's landslides. There's different issues like that. In other places, they don't have enough water, and so they have problems with drought and with having fresh water availability. So what I'm wanting to do with people is to be able to tell our different water stories from where we collected these different cloud observations. As we know, sometimes when we have clouds, we can anticipate precipitation, and sometimes we have clouds and we don't have rain or snow. Right now, funny, at my house in Maryland where I live, I'm outside of Washington, D.C., we're having a mix of both rain and snow where I am right now. So let me take you and show you my water story that I wrote. And I'm just going to do this to give you an idea of what you can do. And I will help you to do when we tell your water story. So here I'm showing for the time that I went out and did my cloud observation, I looked to see what my satellite mission was telling me as far as how much clouds and potential of precipitation in my area. Then I went out and I just did my cloud observation. Then I took the and these are like the pictures from my cloud observation, which you can send to me. It's up to you if you want to or not. But this is what then I'm going to calculate for you once I take your latitude and your longitude. I'm going to be able to show you for the last 22 years, see if I can make this bigger, maybe not, okay, but I go back to 2000 and then up to the present time, so you can see seasonally. So DJF, that stands for what are usually my winter months here in Maryland, December, January, February. Black is showing the spring, green is showing the summer, and orange is showing the fall. And what we're seeing here is that where I live in Maryland, we get a lot of, there we go, a lot of precipitation throughout the entire year. And that's true when we look back over the past 22 years. We can see sometimes in some fall years, we didn't get very much precipitation, but we still got a little. Sometimes we can see in the fall, we have gotten a lot. Look at the fall of 2011. Over here during these summer months, we experienced severe flooding in the Washington, D.C. area in both 2018 and 2020. So what I will do is I will generate that data for you. And then I will say to you, here are some questions I have when I look at your data. And I will ask you about answering those questions. And then I will make for you a water story. So over here in Ireland, we will start to see some water stories showing up. Right now, I've just started this project. I have one story in India. I have another one in Mexico. I have my two, and I have some that I need to add to this, one from Jordan in the Middle East, and another one from up here in New York. And basically, I'm going to ask you a couple questions like, where do you live? So I'm telling a little bit about where I live, that in my case, it used to be farmland. I talk about how we have precipitation throughout the year here. And then I'm just telling a little bit more about the data that I'm sharing. You can tell as little or as much as you want to. Here's another story. In this case, this one is from the Chesapeake Bay. And again, I have that iMerge data. There's my cloud observation, and there's that iMerge precipitation, that precipitation data. And here the story I tell is about a bay cottage that we have that is located over on the Chesapeake Bay. And we're concerned about climate change and climate change causing a whole lot of flooding problems and pretty much making that area unlivable. Then we go over to a farm village in India. And here we have our very own Peter Falcon. He was visiting his family in Mexico, and a water story from him. So, like I say, all the directions for this water story are easy to read. All you have to do is do a cloud observation, send it to me, and then I will send you some questions and see if we can't add your water story over here to our telling our water story. The other thing I have is a project that looks at telling your tree story. So let's say you are more into trees, and you'd like to tell a story about a tree that's in your schoolyard or over at your house. And this one, you just use your tree tool. You can also do a land cover. Oops, I went back to the same one. Sorry about that. You could also do a land cover, because I clicked on the wrong thing, a land cover observation. And then we put those together, and you are basically telling your tree story, letting us know why you like this particular tree, and maybe even thinking about what will happen with that tree in the next 30 years due to changes in precipitation patterns and changes in global surface temperature. So as I was saying, all these are available right here. If you go to precipitation education, which is the website that we have developed to help share some of the cool things we're doing with the Global Precipitation Measurement Mission. And if you come over here to resources and programs, and then you just scroll down here to the Globe program, that's where you will find telling your tree story and telling your water story. And then I'll even show you how you can go and get the data yourself for understanding how much precipitation has been measured by NASA's Global Precipitation Measurement Mission. I hope you feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions about precipitation, about how NASA satellites are able to measure precipitation from space. And then also something I think is really, really interesting is, okay, that's cool, we can measure this precipitation from space. So what do we do with it? And I have a link here called Who's Using GPM Data? And you can learn about some of the different careers, how these people got into the career that they're in, and just better understand how and why we're measuring lots of different environmental parameters from space. So again, thank you so much for including me. I'm sorry that I couldn't actually be here in live, but it would be 4 in the morning for me. So have a wonderful, wonderful time at your event, and do get in touch with me if I can be any help. Hey, love the work you're doing. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.